Numbers 11. Have you ever been on a long road trip with your family? Because it is impossible to travel for a long distance without everyone complaining and the people in charge having very murderous thoughts about everyone else on the trip. Unlike us, however, God actually goes through with those thoughts because he's not a good guy. Now, the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord and the fire died down. So that place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. God's mad because people are complaining? They're in the desert. Their lives suck. The only thing they ever seem to talk about are their family trees. Let them complain. You know how reality TV shows like Survivor don't give players a lot of food? Because that heightens the tension and people get snippier? And on The Bachelor, they give them all the alcohol they want because it leads to more drama. What I'm saying is God purposely created this situation to make it more volatile. And now God is mad that everyone's reacting exactly as anyone could have predicted. If he doesn't like it, just make it rain cookies or something. This is such an easy fix for an omnipotent God. The rabble with them began to crave other food. And again, the Israelites started wailing and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we've lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna." They're all like, "Remember when we were slaves and it was awesome? God, our freedom under you is worse than slavery." And look at their memory loss. They say the fish they ate in Egypt was at no cost, but they paid for it with their labor. This is how capitalism gets to you. It's like gas prices rising by $2 a gallon and then they go down by 5 cents and you think you're getting a discount. No, you're not. They tricked you and you fell for it. I thought these people brought cattle with them on the journey. Why aren't they using that meat? I do understand not loving manna, though. If you're starving, that's one thing, but even then, you gotta have some variety. I would like to learn more about how awful this manna really was. The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it in a mortar. They cooked it in a pot or made it into loaves, and it tasted like something made with olive oil. When the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. I'll be honest with you, I read that description and I still have no idea if that's supposed to taste good or bad. But it sounds pretty bad. Whenever you have to crush your food, cook it so you can eat oily gruel, it's probably not that appetizing. Moses heard the people of every family wailing at the entrance to their tents. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised on oath to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, 'Give us meat to eat.' I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me. If I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin." Oh my God. Moses has turned into an angry dad on a road trip, turning to his wife in the passenger seat. "Take care of this. Look at everything I have to do. I didn't ask for this. These kids over there keep moaning about food, so give them food, or else I'm just gonna stop this car right now." What I'm trying to say is my family no longer goes on road trips. The Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders, who are known to you as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. They will share the burden of the people with you, so that you will not have to carry it alone. So God's not fixing the problem. He wants to spread the effect of the problem from Moses to other people, as if that will make everything better. God thinks the solution to one person suffering is 71 people suffering instead. This will not end well. Tell the people, consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, when you will eat meat. The Lord heard you when you wailed, "If only we had meat to eat, we were better off in Egypt." Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it. You will not eat it for just 1 day, or 2 days, or 5, 10, or 20 days, but for a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and you loathe it, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you, and have wailed before him, saying, "Why did we ever leave Egypt?" God is taking revenge on these people for whining. I kind of enjoy that. I don't know how true this is, but remember back in the day when kids were supposedly punished for wanting to smoke? They would say, "I want a cigarette, Daddy," and then Daddy would say, "Oh, really? Well, I'm going to teach you a lesson. You're going to smoke 100 cigarettes until you get so sick that you feel like death, and then you will never want a cigarette again." I am such a good father. Now, God's going to do that to all the Israelites with meat. So much meat that it's going to spill out of their noses. And for what? Because these starving people said they were hungry. Therefore, God wants them to suffer by overfeeding them. But Moses said, "Here I am among 600,000 men on foot, and you say I will give them meat to eat for a whole month? Would they have enough if flocks and herds were slaughtered for them? Would they have enough if all the fish in the sea were caught for them?" Moses, just shut up. What are you doing? God just said he would take care of this. Moses is basically arguing with God, saying there's no way God can feed all these people. You could catch every fish in the sea and it wouldn't be enough. But God's ego is very fragile. And when you say God can't do something, he's going to take it personally. The Lord answered Moses, "Is the Lord's arm too short? Now you will see whether or not what I say will come true for you." Not exactly a great zinger, but okay. God does not like it when someone suggests he has a small arm. So Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He brought together 70 of their elders and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke with him, and he took some of the power of the Spirit that was on him and put it on the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but did not do so again. However, 2 men whose names were Eldad and Medad had remained in the camp. They were listed among the elders, but did not go out to the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses, "Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp." Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' aide since youth, spoke up and said, "Moses, my lord, stop them." What the hell just happened? Moses got the elders. Then God took the curse that was upon Moses and broke it up into 70 pieces like Horcruxes, because that's a normal thing that happens, and put a piece on all the men. And then the men predicted the future, which has nothing to do with curses, including 2 guys who weren't even part of the group, though they were supposed to be, and that's bad, so Moses has to stop this. Weird twist. I thought God was gonna feed these people to death. Instead, it turned into a psychological thriller movie. I should point out that when they use the word prophesy here, they're probably not talking about predicting the future, but acting like the Spirit has taken over them. Like they're charismatic Pentecostal worshipers dancing in the aisles and looking crazy. No wonder Moses' intern tells him this needs to stop. But Moses replied, Are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets and that the Lord would put his spirit on them. Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp. That's one way to handle it. Just say, I don't care what those two guys are doing. I wish everyone made things up. These people wanted food, and it just turned into a convention of astrologers. Okay, God, are you finally going to feed everyone? Now a wind went out from the Lord and drove quail in from the sea. It scattered them up to 2 cubits deep all around the camp, as far as a day's walk in any direction. All that day and night, and all the next day, the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 10 homers. Then they spread them out all around the camp. But while the meat was still between their teeth, and before it could be consumed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. Therefore, the place was named Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people who had craved other food. From Kibroth Hattaavah, the people traveled to Hazeroth and stayed there. Let's see if I have this right. So God killed a bunch of birds, enough to feed everyone. They started to eat the birds, but some people weren't satisfied because, ew, just give me some pizza. So God took his anger out on everyone and sent a plague that murdered the picky eaters. I mean, I can't blame him. If people are still complaining even after you've given them what they needed, I'd be mad too. I wouldn't kill them over it, because I'm a more moral human being than God, but I understand where God is coming from. I know what you're thinking though. How many quails are we talking here? Let's do the math. High school geometry is totally about to pay off. Okay, if there are enough birds to go 2 cubits deep, and this is 1 cubit, we are talking about 1 meter deep. And if this is happening for a day's walk in any direction, that's a radius of about 30 kilometers, or 30,000 meters. So, if you calculate the volume of that cylinder, which is pi r squared times the height, we are talking nearly 3 billion cubic meters, or roughly 3 trillion liters. And if a quail is about 1 liter, which is still pretty big for a bird like that, that's 3 trillion dead birds. And if there are a few million Israelites, each of them would have about 1 million quails each. Is my math off? Maybe. But even if I'm wrong by a lot, those are still a ton of cigarettes, if you know what I mean. These people are about to get very sick. I guess this book has turned into National Lampoon's Vacation Out of Egypt, and we're about to get a long scene where everyone throws up. But the whiners are dead, Moses doesn't carry the burden of everyone's fury alone, and the people are finally full of quails. Lots of quails. Like an unhealthy number of quails. So I guess we can continue on the journey.